this is one of the important aspects which I can tell, one of the important topic which Madam has kept, that is the challenges in publishing in index journals and how to overcome it. So before starting my presentation, I would just like to tell a story why FDP is important for all of us and why FDPs will be organized. Many a time it happens with us that why this much long FDP, so much of hours we need to put into it. A small story, it is about a woodcutter and a sawmill person. So there was a sawmill person where a person named XYZ, he was a woodcutter. He went to that sawmill owner and he asked for a job for cutting the trees. He told that he is having full of energy and he will cut more and more trees and he will provide it. Then the sawmill owner told him, yes, okay, I'll give you. Then the first day he went and he cutted around 20 trees and he was very happy that he cutted 20 trees. The second day with the same energy he went, but he could not cut 20, but this time he could cut only 80. Then the days passed on for a period of week or years limiting. So the same energy he was utilizing, but the amount of the trees when he was cutting at the day one was not able to cut at that day where he was there. Then he went to the sawmill owner and he asked, I'm using the same energy, I'm having the same potential, I'm having the same interest of doing the work, but yet I am not able to cut that many trees which I was doing at the day one. Then the sawmill owner very silently replied him, when did you sharpen your axe? In the same way, FDP also plays a very important role in our profession, not only in the nursing profession, in other professions also. Because FDPs are like nothing but we are sharpening our axes, means we are getting upgraded to our knowledge. So with that, I would like to just start with my topic. What are the challenges in publishing the index journal and how to overcome that? So being myself also a researcher, once upon a time, I was facing the same problem and I have tried to put all those problems which myself I have faced. And I think all the researchers might be facing the same problems whenever they are doing the researches. So it has been observed that we say that indexing is there. Okay. So what index journal, index, and every now and then we will be hearing or coming across this type of words. Whether is the journal indexed? What is the criteria of indexing? So before beginning to the challenges of the publication, let us understand what is journal index and what is the criteria of getting indexed. Journal index is nothing but we also call it as what? Bibliographic index. So what is bibliographic index? Bibliographic index is nothing but it is anything which is intended to help us to find, to do these publications. Or you may also call it as what? Bibliographic database. So what is bibliographic database? It is nothing, a descriptive information or any piece of a work which has done by any person, or you may say any author has done it, about its title, when it was done. So everything we will be getting in the bibliographic databases. In those databases, they are organized according to the disciplines, according to the subjects, even according to the region, and also many other factors are also there. We come across many research studies when we go in the research data, when we search for the certain topics. We all are coming from our BSc also. In the BSc also, we do the projects. In the project, we will be told us to identify the literature review. Now, from where to identify the literature review? So this is where we identify the databases help us. We will identify the research topics, or you may say the research papers out of them. So there are certain criteria where this research database, you may say, or the bibliographic database is there. Like there are journals which are having like ethics or the peer review policies. We will come one by one. What is ethics? What will be the peer review policies? And every data will be having an assessment criteria of the articles also. Whenever we submit articles, they have their own criteria of the assessment also. Then there are editorial board and they own maintain their transparencies also. Many a times, being us, our researchers also, many a time we fail to identify the journals. I hope so in the previous sections regarding the predatory journals also, the lecture was there. So how to identify the predatory journals is also important, because predatory journals are as the same copy of the original journals. But almost all, whenever some of the friends or some of my colleagues ask me, is it an index journal? Or will it get indexed in the Scoopus? That is almost all question it will be asking by the many people. So how important to identify the index journals and how the creation of that indexing happens, who does that, that is also very important. So index journal are important because they are having a high quality in themselves. But there are many other non-index journals also, which are I was telling about the predatory journals. So this journal indices, or you can say the journal indexes, is being done by different organizations. Now, for example, if we see we are speaking about the PubMed, we may talk about the Scoopers, we may speak about the Web of Science, which we called as WAS. So these are the different bodies. Now, like public body, for example, PubMed is a public body and it is maintained by the United States National Library of the Medicine. So here, basically, we will be more focusing on the medical-based publications. Then when we speak about another organization, which we call it like an analytical companies like Web of Science. This even Web of Science is nothing but it is one of the core collection, which is maintained by the Clarivate Analytics. And in this one also, in this Web of Science, we have three different criteria. So one, we are criteria that is into the SCI, which we call it as Science Citation Index, and SCIE, which we call it as Science Citation Index Expanded. Then even there is a third category which called as AHCI, that is the Arts and Humanities Citation Index. And another additional which we are there, that is now recently, which we call it as what? ESCI, which has been recently added. But basically, when we speak, SCI journals are a very top journals and they come in under the Q1 journal, which we call them as the quartile. Then the another publications which we call them as what? The Scoopus. This Scoopus is basically owned by the Elsevier publications. So Elsevier is maintaining the Scoopus content. They select, they have their own boards, they display it. And hope so in the previous sections also you might have seen that how to identify the exact journals while we were identifying the predatory. So these are some of the key type of the journal indices. So as I already told you, we have different type of. So in the SCIE, that is what we call it as what? Science Citation Index. So there, which all topics will be included, they will be mainly the science and also the technology journals are included in the SCI. When it comes to the AHCI, that is the Arts Humanity Citation Index, the mainly subjects which are related to the arts and the humanity journals will be published. And in the PubMed, we are mainly focusing on the biomedical journals will be there. And in an ESCI journals, that which includes all type of disciplines are being together kept in this ESCI. So now the common challenges we see. Nowadays, every universities are going to the accreditation, NAC accreditation. Even the NAC also says that the paper publication should be in the Scoopus. That is, they write. So now we always see what the work we have done. That work should be visible to everyone. And every university also prefers that their faculty or their researchers, they have to publish in a very high quality journals, and their indexing also is being assessed even while during the NAC accreditation. So what would be the index of the university? So collectively indexing also will be assessed. Then even the citation also, which is happening with the every author, that will be also taken into the account. So in order to overcome all these things, any researchers who is working in any university, or even nowadays every college is also going for the NAC accreditation. So myself, whenever I go for the visits or whenever I'll be going for the assessment for the universities or the colleges, especially in the nursing colleges, I face a problem where the nursing fraternity usually are having the lesser number of the publications. The reason behind this is what they are putting their efforts, but many times they are being not properly focusing. Means we are focusing exactly, but we are not able to hit to that point. So that might be the reason where we fail. So when we focus on these challenges, what are the problems what we are doing? So if, according to my view, I have put some points over here where almost all the researchers would be facing. Point one, which I'm especially speaking about, the identification of the journal to submit the manuscript. So we say that, okay, we are going to do the research. Then we also did. Then mainly what we'll do, we will be finding. I'll be seeing every day now and then I'll be getting some emails from the journals. We are going to publish your research publication in 7 days, 8 days, 10 days, 1 month, and we are charging this much. So many a times we people become fool, we may say that we can, within a short period of span it is happening, so we will put it here. So we are not able to recognize that journal and we are going to submit the journal. That time, that journal may be proved to be a predatory, or that journal may be the wrong journal where we are submitting. And that is also one of the problems we face. And another is what? We write the manuscript, we put the effort, and we are not able to identify the journal, where I have to send it, whether I have to send it in which publishers. For example, I am doing my research in the community, I am doing in OBG. So how I have to identify that also is lacking. So due to that only, what we are having, we are facing the problems. So identifying the journal for submission of the manuscript is one of the very important things, because when we submit any paper to any journal, from the day of the submission till the peer review process, till the acceptance, we have to wait, and we will be not able to submit that our paper to any another journal, because we have to completely wait till what the journal is also giving us the response. That is also one of the major challenges which the researcher face. So in order to overcome that, so when we write the research, try to find out the manuscript should be coinciding with the scope of the journal. So identify the journal first. If you are finding the journals, for example, if you are writing in the OBJ and you are having some abstract or some topic, search for that, which is suiting for your topic or the research. So focus on that particular journal. When you will focus on that particular journal, in that journal, they will be writing the scope. So what the scope, whether it is accepting which type of the manuscripts. Are they accepting, for example, if you are doing in the OBG, as I'm an OBG person, it will be written there. Midwifery or obstetrics and gynecology related, case reports, research, original research articles, blah, blah, everything that will be written in the journal website. So we have to identify that, and then only we have to submit our manuscript over there. Then also identify the editorial members. That also plays a very important role, because when we submit our paper will be going for the peer review. So if the people who are in the editorial board are from that particular domain, for the OBG domain, or they are for a particular subject, then only you can submit, because again the rejection may happen because of the editorial process also. Many a times they may send it for the revision, or they may even reject the article also while the peer review. Then while submitting your manuscript, you have to follow the detailed steps. Even whenever you have registered to any of the reputed journals, either in the Elsevier or Trailer and Francis, or you may take any Web of Science or SCI journals, they have their own pages. In that pages, they will be given guidelines to the authors, how to submit the paper. So that all steps should be followed by the author. We prepare a long, lengthy paper, but when it comes to the submission time in the journals, they will be divided. They are asking the main tables, they have asked differently, figures they have asked differently, their abstract should be in this particular words only. Okay, their introduction should not format. Okay, yeah, they may ask in any other Vancouver style format. So these are very essential things. Being a researcher, we have to identify. So everything should be identified before we are submitting our paper to the journal. So that is the first point. Then there are certain, as I already told you, there are guidelines also given to the authors. They are given to the, then about for the editors also. Many journals, they write how they have to review. Even when I will be reviewing any papers, I'm a reviewer in Dove Press and all, so they will send their guidelines. So I have to put the comments, what the paper is written, how we have to write it, every reviewer. So that is also put transparently in this reputed journal. So being an author, before submission, I have to check it, how many days it is taking. So what are the guidelines they are doing, what clarifications they may ask. Okay, so even in some journals, they will ask, is there any person reviewer who you want to send and all. So this type of things we need to see so that we can identify the good journal. So then never fall in any this messages or any emails which are coming, like we are going to publish in within a quick publication, or even they are asking you for the amount also in this for 450 USD, 600 USD they will be charging, we'll be publishing that, this and all. That should not be fallen. Then the second challenge the researcher mainly face is in the time loss in the article reformatting. As I already told you, that there are so much of guidelines given in any journal. So it becomes very difficult for any researcher to follow their guidelines also. That's why we have to stick to one journal. We have to follow it. What are the font types? Some people ask in times of Roman 12. Some people ask in Roman 14. They are having their head styles also. They have to be highlighted. They ask their keywords to be in the italics, their figures, these many tables only should be there. These many only, I mean to say that tables, or you may say the graphs should be also mentioned. Then they are even specific about the colors also. Then I quoted about the referencing style also. So some journals are very specific in this one. And due to that also, many a times, the submitted research paper gets rejected because of these minute things. And a researcher for submitting of one paper may be spending, even it may take months together to draft one paper and send for the submission. That's why that becomes a lot of problem for any researcher. So that's why before submitting, we have to follow these guidelines. So that our valuable time loss which we are incurring after rejection, that can be compensated so that our paper gets accepted very faster. Even a recent studies also they have been conducted. So it would be around 14 hours, some worth around $477 was being found out when after doing the productive work also in the research. The third main problem, again, the researchers face is with the language barriers. So language barriers, especially with the people like us also, we will be facing many attempts in formatting, especially in the grammar. When the paper is submitted, there are certain reviewers. They are very specific about the English grammar, grammatical errors, prepositions, verbs, commas. So much of problems will be being faced, and many a time because of that also, because of improper using of the English language is also one of the major cause where our research paper submitted gets rejected. I have seen many papers which will be coming to me. There are n number of using where there is no need of the preposition or verbs also they will be putting. But some journals say that don't look after the English, that will be taken care of by the journal. Only you check about the content matter, whether the flow is proper or not, like that. Then there are certain journals also who help us to clear our the English editing also. They provide English editing also. So as an author or as a researcher, what I should do is, before me submitting to the main journal, that is to the journal, I have to first read myself, correct it myself. I have to give to my colleagues also for some proofreading also. Okay, or even there are certain platforms also where we can take the help also. That will be, I'll be dealing, so that we can get a guidance or any changes can be done before we are submitting it also. For this, also even some of the universities or some of the colleges, reputed colleges are also providing the editing system. In many of the universities, I have seen that there is a research cell, and in the research cell also, they are identifying and giving the journals, and before the submission of the paper also, the editing is also done by the university people, because university want a good grades in the NAT and all. So that's why what they do, they are helping their researchers to overcome all these things. So this type of practices also can help us. And nowadays, even there are more number of tools also which have been available even in the market. So we can utilize the tools like, for example, Grammarly is there. So it will help us to identify the grammatical errors and all. So we can utilize that type of softwares. So we can overcome our English errors also. Now, when we speak about the overcoming, so before overcoming, how shall I do my research? So first of all, being a researcher, we have to plan that we have to conduct a very high quality research. So far as we in the nursing profession, we are always been sticking up into video assisted teaching, structured teaching programs, or you may say descriptive studies. So now we have to come out of that one. We have to get upgraded ourselves. We have to see what is the need now. Then there are still many other than this research papers also. We can go for the systematic reviews. We can go for the meta-analysis. Mixed method of research studies are there. So if we do this type of research studies, that can help us in getting the very better publications also. And in systematic review and meta-analysis also, we will be getting more and more number of even citations also. With that also, we can improve our research also, and we can have a more visibilities in the research. So conducting the high quality research is one of the essential, and any research which we are going to conduct should be original, and it should be significant, and it also should be the rigorous also. So any researcher should ensure before starting any research, he has to be clear with what they are going to do, and they should have a clear methodology that of what they are going to do, how they are going to do, how it would help, and what would be its outcome and all. So it's complete the knowledge the researcher should have. And when we are conducting the research also, we should be also known about the what type of the methods we have to apply, what type of statistical methods, or how the analysis should be done. Now there are many analysis softwares. We used to use SPSS also. There is R also, Python also. So many softwares are there, and we used to more go with only chi-square tests and all. There are now the n number of tests. So we have to explore those tests, and that newer type of exploration of the test also can help us to ensure the proper findings. What are it will be valid findings also. That also can help us to the target the good journals also. Conducting high quality research is one. And the second, as I already told you, choosing the right journal. So when we choose the journal is there. So almost all we find this type of terminologies, OA, SA, okay, that is on subscription. It is OA is nothing but it is an open access, and the other one will be the subscription. So now one of the first step to find is that we have to identify the open access. Now, even though we are finding an open access journals, there are certain journals, they are giving the open access, but some journals provide us it as free. And some journals are there, they are charging us the fees, which they call it as what? APC, article processing charges. So now before submitting the journal also, you have to identify the impact factor of the journal. What is the scope of the journal? As I already told you, we have identified the scope now, and even what is the reputation of the journal is also that much important, and the impact factor. Now, what is this impact factor? Impact factor is nothing but any article which is being published in that particular year, and how many times it would be cited. So that is the impact factor of that particular journal. The more the impact factor, the reputed the journal is, and the more the visibility of the journal also will be there. And what is the overall peer review process which is taking place, and what are the standards or the ethical standards, or how the process or the flow of the paper is going. That all should be taken into the consideration. So there are, I already spoke you about this open access databases are there, Scopus is there, Web of Science is there. In that one, we are responsible to find what type of journal is suiting for our paper. So after verifying all this, then we have to also be cautious about the predatory, because predatory journals are as similar to that of the original journals. Even the same website will be there. But when we see it very minutely, we will be identifying either in the even formatting, there will be problems, or even in the contact details, or in the editorial Gmail, instead of the journal emails, they will be giving some other email, Yahoo mails and all. So these are some minor things where a researcher has to carefully examine before submitting the research. So once we select the journal, so accordingly we have to align our research topics, align our methodology. In some papers, they ask about the results and discussion to be a single part. In some paper journals, they ask results should be different, discussion should be different. So always adhere and clear to the guidelines of the journal and follow the journal parameters. The second point is that the plan of the budget. So now again, I was speaking about the open access. So there are some journals which are charging the APC, which we say article publishing processing charges. So they differ from journal to journal. Some charge in euros, some charge in USDs. Many a times that may not be also feasible for a researcher like in India and all. We cannot afford that much amount of fees. But there are certain journals which they are accepting free of cost, or even there are many journals which I come across. They are giving some waivers, means they are giving the discount also. They are not at all charging for some countries people. So being a researcher, we can also collaborate with the journals so that our, the authors of the other countries, like low income countries, they'll be given a big list also. They'll be having their own list. When you click in the waiver policies of that journal, you'll find the countries' names. These are the countries' names. This much 50% waive off, 100% waive off will be there. So we have to see that one also. And if it is possible also, we can all, the members in the department or in the members in the university can collaborate. And then accordingly, what we can do, we can submit our manuscript also. There are some universities in the abroad who are giving the grants also, sponsors also for their country people. So if we collaborate with those people, and if we do researches also, that will also subsidize our article processing charges. So the next thing is we have to protect our rights. So after submission, there will be one form called as what? Well, we are submitting in the manuscript. So they will be asking the title of the page. They will be asking for the author. These all will be different only they will be asking. They will be asking without tables, you have to submit. Some table form should be kept differently. Then one whole paper also you have to upload separately. With that, you will find one more paper, which we call it as what? Copyright form. So in this copyright form, there will be, we are giving the rights as an author for the publisher. So we have to see, we have to read what it is written, what they are going to do, how they are going to do that. Usually in this journals, they are taking with the Creative Commons licenses. So where means it is visible to others, we can share, then it is a non-commercial and non-derivative and all. So we have to identify, we have to read it properly. We have to, then only what we have to do, we can transfer our copyright to. So before signing, you have to go through all this. Then even depositing this particular Creative Commons, once they take from you, so they will be depositing in the repositories like PubMed, Central. It will be going for the visibility. Now the third thing, or the fourth thing about is the promotion of that work. Now our paper is been done, if the paper is been published, everything is there. Now how we have to promote it? How we have to do that? That is also one of the challenge, because if we publish the paper and it is kept like that way, that is of no use until and unless that particular research, because whenever we do the research, the end process is what? Publication we do. But the end paper thing is not only the publication, but promotion and reaching to the readers is also that much important. So that what actually you have done, so what others can do from your research and how it can help others also. That's what we do in the gap analysis. When we start doing the research, we read different researches, we identify what are the gaps, and then we are going to do a new research. In the same way, that your particular research also can help the audience for increasing their researches also. So with the help of that, you can get an visibility, you can get a discoverability of your research, so that you can communicate your research finding to them. So when they read it, when they utilize it, they will cite you. They will give a credit to your research. So in the same way, it will help your research profile to get increased. So there are various platforms you can say, like you can put as a blogs, or you can the podcasts or webinars, or even in the press release. Wherever it is possible, we can spread our research for our readers, so that it will help us in upgrading our matrices or the indicators. Like even we can put after the publication, there is the academia is there, a research gate is there. So we can put our papers, then Google Scholar is widely there. So it will get added to there. So we will understand how we can expose ourselves, or we can communicate our research findings to the public. Then the feedback and the improvement, already spoken on this much. So before submission also, we have to identify, we have to give to our authors, like feedback also is very essential. So in order to encounter all these things, because many a times when we submit, there may be the biases in the peer review process also. Then there may be in the delay in the peer review process also. It happens. Recently, I received a publication from I think it's from somewhere from Indonesia. I received it. I was surprisingly I was seeing that there was a journal named, which I have already mentioned in my slide, F1000 research. Okay, and that particular F1000 research so that is a platform. Before the publication, they are sending the paper for the peer review. So if you see in this F1000 research also, there are so many papers which are there. They are awaiting for the review. Peer reviews is there. So due to the delay process also, what they are doing, they are submitting to this type. They will correct it accordingly, and again final submission will be done. So in order to finalize it and to make it much more effective, this type of feedback improvement system also can be followed. So when the people read, they put their review, they put the readers are telling what to be added, what is the lagging in that one. So it will help us to refine ourselves more and more, and also help us to advance our research also. So these are some of the platforms which I like, that the post participation of the post publication viewing, commenting also, rating also, enrolling the articles on the open access platform like PubPeer, or even which I already quoted you, that is the F1000 research. So you can send for the feedback for improvement. Then when you are not only from the platform also, you can even send the research for your colleagues also, or you can give to your mentors or your teachers or any experts in your field. So you can ask them, this is what I have done, what I can do, what any additional things which can be added, or any deletion is there. So kindly do that. So even while doing the tool validation also in MSc, BSc, or even in the PhD, anywhere we do the research. So we always go give it for our expert whenever we do the tool. In the same way, here also we can ask or seek the feedback from our colleagues, mentors, and seniors also. Then this all helps us to improve. Overall, when we do the feedback, it will give us input improvement, and also it will help us to strengthen our manuscript. The next challenge, the sixth challenge which we face and how to overcome that. Stay updated and informed. So again, the major drawback which we people are doing, we are not getting updated. That's why I begin with a story of getting the woodcutter and the sawmill owner. So we need to ourselves day by day, we have to see what new researches are going on. When the COVID was there, everywhere paper you are seeing, whichever paper is coming, COVID that, COVID this, COVID that. Now after COVID, what? What is the gap? Again, we have to find what is the challenges, how we have to overcome it. Okay. So the constantly evolving or even changing of the new journals are there. What are the models? What are the policies? What standards are there? How we have to develop them? So we have to rigorously, we have to keep updated our. So when we used to study in the laboratory methods and all. Nowadays, simulation has came. Now simulation is trending. I am seeing n number of papers which are coming to me are based on the simulations now. Okay, now simulation. Wherever what about simulation? Some is writing about knowledge, some is writing about attitude, some is writing about some practices. So now what knowledge also done, attitude done, practice, and now what new thing we can do from the simulation? So that type of information a researcher need to get updated by himself or herself. So for identifying such type of newer items, you can go with the open access news are there. You can go, there are many blogs also. There are some platforms like Sprack or Scholarly Kitchen where you can identify the current issues are there, where the debates about the open publishing, access publishing is also going on. Or even you can join, there are certain communities, or you can say the certain platforms or the network like OSPA, that is Open Access of Scholarly Publishers Association, or even the Fora, that is the Confederation of Open Access Repositories, where the exchange of the ideas or the experiences where the researchers are exchanging and where the authors are advocating on the or debating on the topics also can be identified here. So what are the, I already told about keeping up the latent research trends also. So what are the methodologies, newer methodologies? I was just speaking about the SPSS. In the SPSS, only we used to put go for the chi-square association and all. There are many parametric and non-parametric tests. Still, we are not able to go till there. Then there is regression analysis and all. So this type of more and more things we have to learn, and we have to put that methodologies into that. Then the techniques, even the techniques or even sampling method, we are doing purposive sampling or the random sampling methods. Now many people are doing mixed method of researches, where both qualitative and quantitative they are mixing. Thematic analysis is there. Many things are being now emerging. So we have to get updated to all those. So for the same thing, we have to, for upgrading ourselves, from my side, I request all the attendees to attend more conferences, workshops, seminars. So when we attend such type of things, we get not only the collaboration with the peoples, but we also identify what the current research is going on, what are the latest research in the research field also. Now, even in the nursing also, now AI is booming, artificial intelligence is there, Internet of Things is also going on, robotic things are happening. So now, much focus not on the subject areas. Now, I am a OBG person, I have to do only in OBG. I am a community, I have to focus on community. Now we have to come out of little that one. Now even the national education policies, which is also telling to more focus on the interdisciplinary approaches. So we have to collaborate with the other people. We can collaborate with the pharmacy people. We can collaborate with the engineering peoples. We can enhance more and more researches. We can collaborate with the doctors. Many cancer specialists are there. Many new things are going on now. We can collaborate with them, neurophysicians. So many that multiple collaborations we can do. We can identify from them also. We can togetherly we can get updated and we can go ahead. Next, writing a strong manuscript. Again, strong manuscript, as we already discussed about the language barriers, the formatting of the manuscript, these all are the very crucial elements, because one thing is missing. If again the paper is getting rejected and coming back, again we have to begin from the beginning. That's why before submission only we have to check all this, and then only we have to submit it. So always write in a well-written format. Then it should be clear, concise, and also free from the grammatical errors. While we are writing, there should be the connection between the lines. What happens? What we wanted to put and what is we are putting, that are mainly differing. When I'll be reading the paragraphs, I won't find any relevancy in the paragraphs. That's why many times we could not understand. I'll just be focusing on some review comments also. which we have received or which we have put. So we have to format accordingly to the journal formatting guidelines or the structure correctly. Then when we submit the paper, we will be getting the feedback from the reviewers. Sometime in couple of days it will come, because if the reviewers are at a little bit faster, or any journal is having a speedy review, they'll be sending us. So vigorous that also will be shown in the journal website only. So when the reviewer are sending us their reviews or their comments, you may say, so as a researcher, it is my duty that proper reviewer feedback I have to give within a stipulated time. They will give us within 7 days or within 4 days, kindly review the thing and resubmit it. So being a researcher, I have to make it correct whatever the reviewers they are putting there. And also what reviewer comment is there, that is also very essential, that we have to understand what actual the reviewer comment is, what the intended reviewer is, what intended he is, what he wants or she wants from her research paper. So respond to each comment thoroughly and also make the revisions accordingly. So here I have put one reviewer comment that what I have received while I was reviewing it. So like comments on author is that they are writing, your paper was interesting with some modification and it is ready for the publication. Like there are typing and spelling mistake. See, this is what the challenges I was discussing with you now. There were some spelling mistakes. Then the introduction is not linear, not easy to follow. That's what I was telling. There is no connection between the lines. So in the beginning, you talk about the self-esteem. In the general, after the relation, again then again in general, finally the level of the nursing profession. So the part of the method means the method which the research was used was good. Then they are specifying the lines also. When it comes for the review, line by line it will be coming. Line 1 to line whatever the lines are there. So they say in the page 10, line 22 and line 39, what does this highlighting means? Or is there any missing sentences in this particular line? So in the discussion, elaborate the aspects of what is related to this. So this type of the reviewer comments were there. So that is the first reviewer which the reviewer is given the comment, and this is the second reviewer. So when we submit to a journal, they are submitting not only to one person, they are sending it to multiple reviewers, maybe 1 review, 2 reviewers, 3 reviewers. So all those reviewers are giving their comments. So these all 3 reviewer comments, what they do? They combine it and they send back to you. So these are the 3 reviewers who has done your reviewing and they have given the comments. So kindly rectify this review and give or resubmit the paper. Or many times they will send, the reviewers have rejected your paper and it is not eligible for the publications also. So again, the time which the researcher has been done becomes wasted. That's why we have to identify the gaps. We have to identify the appropriate research, what is trending or what is there in the current era. So accordingly, if we do and if we format, that will be helping us. Be persistent. So publication, it is not a single day process, I mean to say. Many people tell, no, it should happen very fast. But there are some journals, they take weeks together, even years together they are taking for the publication. They send many a time reviews, they will send 2 times, 3 times. Sometimes they do rejections, sometimes they give negative feedback. So during that time, the time taken is very important also, because the researcher has to wait what they are intended to say. So that's why we have to follow all the criteria successfully so that our paper gets published. In that one also, there are certain considerations in the research which we have to do. Like if we are doing any research related to human beings or any animals that have been involved, we have to go with the proper ethical considerations. So how the ethical also are essential part while submitting into the journal. So obtaining the ethical approval before starting or before publication before conducting any research study is essential. We do fail. No, we are just doing a descriptive study. No, we are just doing the structured teaching program or video assessment. No need for us. But it is very essential, even though we are collecting the data from the people, it is essential that we have to take a proper obtained consent also, and ethical approval also is needed, because many journals are asking for what the ethical approval before the submission. Nowadays, the experimental researches are there. So in the experimental researches, it is very important that ethical approval should be taken. And the ethical approval also should be adhering to the ethical guidelines. So in the ethical guidelines, it should be mentioned that we are protecting the rights and also the welfare of the participants who have involved in our research study. Then, during the for us, many a times because of this also we fail, because we are not taking any informed consent from the participants. So always researcher, they have to ensure that a proper informed consent from all the participants is taken, so that their rights are protected and their data which they have given is also being kept confidential. And then even after taking the researches, the data also stored, whichever the data stored should also be accessed only to the persons who are authorized to access it. There are certain databases, they are giving the research, the data only after the approval only. Like even if you want to take any statistical data from any government organizations and all, so it will be, everything will be kept under some passwords or locks will be kept. So for accessing even that also, you have to protect the rights of the people. Another important thing which we come across is regarding the plagiarism. So plagiarism, because of the plagiarism also, many journals are refusing. Some journals accept less than 10%, some journal accept less than 15%, and some journal accept for up till 20% also. But how can we, being a researcher, we can avoid plagiarism? There are the things as a researcher I can do, or we all can do, is that whenever we are taking any work from anything, we have to give the proper citation to that work which they have done. And also we have to give it in the reference of all the sources whichever we have cited accurately as per the journal's guidelines. If it is in APA, give in APA. If it is in Vancouver style, give in the Vancouver style, or whichever they are saying, or whichever style of the citation is there, in that form only we have to give them. Then there are some plagiarism detection tools also. Now, before submitting your paper also, you can identify yourself that how much plagiarism is there in your paper. So there are some free plagiarism software tools available in the Google also for some papers and all, free of course they are doing. After that they charge it. But some of the universities are there, they provide their official the softwares to check the plagiarism. Like in my university, we do have a Turnitin software. So before I submit any paper to any journal, I can check my journal's plagiarism. Then if whatever plagiarism is there, I can reduce it myself, and then again I can resubmit it. Then we have to adhere to the animal welfare guidelines. There are certain researches, especially in the pharmacology we are doing, or in any medical diagnostic procedures we are doing. In that case, if we are any animals are involved, then we have to adhere to the animal welfare guidelines also, and we have to take the ethical approval from the animal ethical committees, which is set out in that particular university or the area. So we have to ensure that even the animals are also involved, we are treating them as humanly, and their animals' welfare is also being protected. So I was coming across the one of the research paper which was done in the pharmacology department, where basically they use rabbits, they use guinea pigs, they use rats and all. So they are testing on the animals. This all pharmacology drugs and all will be initially tested. They are like, for example, for diabetes and all, they were making medicine. So initially what they do for testing the diabetes drug, they are inducing the glucose to the animals first. And then they are inducing that drug to the animal, and they are checking the pre and post and all. So during that time, the animals may get harm also. So these all ethical standards to be followed before doing any researches. Even there is a even we can register our research into the central registry also, where we can get the approval from the registry, and then also we can do it. Then in the journal research paper, we do have the uploading in the name like conflict of interest. There will be one letter called as conflict of interest. So in that conflict of interest, we, all the authors who are involved into the publication, we will be signing there. We will be writing our names, designation, everything, and we'll be stating that there will be no any even there is no any conflict in the financial or any personal or any professional relationships. So that we will be giving in the writing to the journal in the name of the conflict of the interest. And then we need to also ensure our data integrity also. So the data integrity is nothing but we are maintaining the data which we have collected, that is, it is exactly under the ethical conduct what we have done it, and the collected data is complete, and we have done the accurate collection of the data is there, and we have not done any manipulation in the data. When we receive it through Google form and all, automatically here what biases may come, we can change it as per what our also it will be free from the manipulation. So then even in order to maintain this, we have to use the proper data management also, where we can store the data. Nowadays, even this softwares have came like health management software in the hospitals and all, they are storing the data. So that particular data where they store the patient's complete details, they are also secured, and also they are accessible to only those people who can access them. So that type of data integrity also can be ensured. The next problem where we face is that the managing the limited time, or many a time we say that no, we are almost all having these many classes, we are not having time. How to do? Our university or our college people are telling us to invest our time on the research. We are not having time. So now skillfully managing time is also very essential. So whenever we find the research new thing into our mind, so we have to manage it very carefully. We have to start it early. Then we have to divide our the working schedule, or we have to divide our time. We have to into small chunks. We have to clearly, now we have to fix this, by this time I will do this particular topic. I will revise this. I will frame a question. I will do this design outline. I will find out the journal. So this is how we can execute our time, or we can limit our time also for our research, so that research will again pay back to us only. That can be done by prioritizing the task, that identifying what are important. Now, while doing the research, which is more important? So time management becomes more prioritization. So identify what is the critical part in your publication process. So accordingly, you prioritize them and their level of importance. So for example, drafting a clear and concise research question, developing the robust study design, and even the collecting the high quality data should be your top priorities while in doing your initial work. Then utilize your resources efficiently. Resources efficiently. Now, it happens with me also, and maybe with you people also. We are having our colleagues with us, but many a times they may not be interested to do the work. Or we are having the colleagues with us, their interest of work is different. We are having the database, but we are not able to access it. Okay, there are n number of the things where we can utilize the resources, like universities are providing or they are getting the databases also for their universities or colleges. Like in my university, we have an access to the web of it, but we don't have access to the Scopus. But in some other university, they might be having the access to the Scopus. So we can collaborate with them. Then by collaborating, we can get more and more references. Then even for minimizing our time, there are tools like the reference management software tools are there, like EndNote is there, Mendeley is there, where we can maintain our references, and also it will help us in the writing process. So we can, like as I told you, we can collaborate with our colleagues also, expertise also, to access the databases. Now, when Scopus is not there, I can ask I can request my friends over there, can you please help me in this one? We can do the collaborative work. So this is how we can encourage, use the resources more and more efficiently. So we should have a realistic goal, and we have to be self-motivated in also managing the time. Again, the self-motivation is one of the important aspects where we see. Just 3 years back, I was also much worried that everyone used to speak about the patents, the research, what is this and all. Then COVID was a very better time for me, I mean to say. I started to read, I started to go and more and more in depth into it. Then I divided my times, then I kept the deadlines and all. Then I started to work in it. And that's why I could crack my task, and I could do the publications in the field of the research. So my more research was focusing rather to be sticking to the nursing. I started to focus on interdisciplinary, because I thought that being in my same domain, it may not give me that much back. So if I go with the collaborative approaches, that would be helping. And again, now that only came into the existence, which we are calling again it as what NEP. So we have to be flexible, adaptable, whatever the changes you are getting, unaccepted, because we have to keep ourselves ready. What will happen after submitting? We don't know whether it will be accepted or rejected. We have done all our part also, but we have to be ready to accept the challenges which may not be unaccepted also. So other than this, these are some of the challenges where everyone will be saying that is one of the major thing is unable or lack of the knowledge in handling the software. We basically, many people don't know to handle the software. Like SPSS software is there, Python softwares are there, R software are there. So we are very, to say that we are not having that much knowledge that how to do that, how to do the calculation. I have seen even many people, even they don't know to even handle Excel sheets also because Excel is also a basic thing. So if we want to be a researcher, if we want to publish in a good impact factor journals, first and the foremost thing is that we have to more engage into the computers, or you may say the softwares. We have to understand. And COVID was the pandemic situation has also given us a chance that we can be more with the computers, and we have learned more from the computers. Though we were not, now still we are now in the online mode. Before we are not knowing about this online, how to use this, how to do that. Slowly we learned. So it is not a single day process, but it is a long process where there is nothing impossible, but it is saying I am possible. So I request all my colleagues to handle the software or to learn the software through FDPs or any conferences wherever they are going, so that they will understand how to make the SPSS, how to put the data in the SPSS, how to generate the analysis, how we can do in the SPSS and all. And even in Excel also, even though SPSS is not there because it is the paid version, there are certain cracked versions also. You can take the cracked versions where there are like EndNote is there, Mendeley is there. These are all the referencing softwares which are available. So these all can help in minimizing your time. The another thing is that overcoming the imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, that is one of the thing what we are saying is always motivated yourself. Say that, yes, I know everything. I am ready to do everything. So don't try to criticize yourself that I am not able to do this. So try to overcome that. So then only you can overcome all these problems. You can build a good research team. So like building a good research team is with getting collaborated with the collaborators from your own colleges, from different colleges also you can collaborate, or even you can collaborate for sponsors or even for the fundraisers which are who are working in the abroad. We all are, almost all our nursing professional people are sitting in the abroad. Even they are also willing to do the researches. So we can identify them. We can bring a good team. We can work together and we can publish together. Then recruiting the research participants also. I was also speaking about the Google links and all. So instead of going with the Google links, try to contact your colleagues so that they can help you in getting the research samples or collecting the samples, because actual sample collection is very important for a very good research. And there are certain even colleges or the people say that no, in my university we don't have this, in my college we don't have this one. Library management software, in the library we are not having access for this one. So even though there is no access, it is not that we have to sit simply no, there is not there, but we can ask our friends. There are free PDFs also available, free papers available. Whenever it is asking for the paid, you can contact your colleagues who are working in abroad or any other universities where they are having access and all. Then we can take the papers from them. We can read the papers. We can draft our manuscript and we can make a very good, effective manuscript also. So that's all from my side. And here are the references which I have been utilized in my today's presentations. And once again, thank you to all, and thank you to the fraternity of the Sathya College of Nursing and the Dean Helen Seju ma'am